Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kryptonian saying here, bringing you guys another discussion for Black Clover. And I gotta say, man, first and foremost, the fact that Yami is back, the fact that the GOAT is back, and he's now come back to take that world title away from Lucifero as being the biggest badass in the series. We gotta appreciate the fact that not only did Yami come in clutch to save the life of Not and also save the life of Asta as well. However, the other thing we have to take into account is that it looks like our boy Yami coming back in the way that he did so potentially with a power-up, because at the end of the chapter, we see that this man, the sword that he is using to block Lucifero's attack, it's got all these tree branches on it, which means that the sword that he's using is an extension of William Vengeance's World Tree magic. So number one, I hope this means that we can kill William Vengeance off, because again, I don't particularly care for Vengeance, so go ahead, kill him off. Yami can take his place as Black Clover's resident tree planter. The other thing too though is that this is ideally the best way that you can fight against Lucifero outside of Asta magic. I think that Tabata is setting the stage for a few different things, so I think that three in particular are going to be the key to bringing down this character. So the first thing you have to keep in mind is that you have Asta with his anti-magic, where he's able to seriously harm Lucifero and do major damage to him. That's likely, number one, the biggest key to take him down. The other thing though is that you have Yuno with the wind spirit, you have Fuegoleon with the fire spirit, you have Lord Pesca, and you still have Noel. One of them is going to be able to use the water spirit. Now, it kind of comes down to, in my opinion, if you think that the water spirit is going to lend her power to Noel again, which I do think is going to be the case, you have those three working together, and then you have Yami with this major power up. And I think that because World Tree magic and Dark magic were the key to opening up the gates to the underworld to allow these devils to come out, it makes sense if they're able to be the key to doing major damage and potentially finish off Lucifero. Like, what if you have the situation where that magic combination is able to start ripping out some of the power that Lucifero has? It kind of makes sense because they were needed in order to open up the gates. So why wouldn't they also be used by extension to defeat the Supreme Devil and to defeat Lucifero? It kind of makes sense if you have that going in conjunction. Now, the other thing too though is I like the idea of Yami playing a huge role in this upcoming battle, just off of the fact that Asta right now is a lot stronger than he was before. And if you have Asta and you have the vice captain fighting alongside Yami and they're able to push back against Lucifero and potentially using Yami's combination of dark magic and world tree magic, reseal Lucifero back into the underworld, I don't think it's crazy. Again, the fact that they were used as a way to open up those gates, it should be a two-way street. They should be able to, if they know the specifics of it, to reseal Lucifero. I think that they're going to be a huge key in that, and I think you potentially could see that Supreme Devil also play a role in it, because I do think, again, this is going to be a Gin Ichimaru situation. Now, in terms of Yami with the power up, it's needed in this sense right here, because right now Asta has gotten so strong that he could legit look over at Yami and say, Yami, I'm the captain now. Like, you ain't strong enough. You always constipated dealing with your dumps. I'll lead the Black Bulls right now. That's just how strong Asta's gotten at this point. So it kind of makes sense if you want to use power clipping and say that Yami was able to absorb some of that devil energy, or Yami and William's powers have kind of fused. That's a good way to actually beef Yami's character up and keep him a step ahead of Asta, because I do still think there are some things that Yami can still teach to Asta. The same thing with Not, and the fact that we're in a situation where, as it was previously stated, that Asta's Devil Union mode, because of the specifics around it, this is something we've never seen before, which opens up the door for this to be the most overpowered Devil Union mode that we've ever seen. It makes sense that Yami is going to need something to keep him that much further ahead of Asta until we get to a point to where Asta's ready to become the Wizard King. I don't think that Asta's quite there yet. I think that this is kind of like a Naruto Uzumaki situation where even when it was clear that Naruto was stronger than Tsunade, he wasn't ready to lead a village. I don't think that Asta is quite yet ready to be the Wizard King of the Clover Kingdom. I don't think that it's quite there yet for him. I think that he's got the power, and I think that serving under Yami longer is going to be that thing that helps him out. And I think that the first thing that can help him is fighting alongside Yami and finding a way to do the major damage to Lucifero between Asta's anti-magic, and looks like Yami has World Tree magic and dark magic at his disposal right now, even if it's only for a temporary solution. The two of them doing major damage and then potentially just stealing Lucifero away. That's something that I do think works. And the fact that when you look at Yami's situation, Yami was seen as an outsider, and Asta, in every sense of the word, was an outsider to the Magic Knights just based off of the fact that Asta couldn't use any magic. I do think that these two things go hand in hand together right here, and it's kind of poetic that Yami, by taking a chance on Asta, basically ends up saving the entire magic world because of that. Now, the only thing that gives me a little bit of worry is I kind of feel like whatever power up that Yami's getting right now, this is going to be something that is potentially only a temporary power. Once we have Lucifero potentially sealed back away into the underworld and those gates are closed, I kind of think once those devils are removed from this world, Yami, any power up he got is going to be taken away from him. And I wonder if it's going to be one of those situations where even after he loses that power, the muscle memory of having used it is going to allow him to tap into a watered down version of it later on in the series. I'm kind of wondering if that might be potentially a route that things go, but I'm just glad that Yami's gotten a power, because it's one of those things I've been saying for months. I kind of felt like Yami, there was something more in exchange for him, because Tabata hadn't killed him off yet. And it kind of makes sense that if he's not going to kill him off, and Yami wasn't able to defeat Dante, and now you have Lucifero here, in what world does Yami be able to stand up to Lucifero if he couldn't even defeat Dante? So it was one of those things where the power up was going to come at some point, way, shape, form, or fashion.